y'all, it's Meg and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do a follow-up video to my most popular video, which is talking about my first full year in Maine and moving from Texas and what I had learned and all that good stuff. That is it is my most viewed video, and it is still incredibly popular and gets comments all the time. So I wanted to do a follow-up video to that because I have now been in New England for 2 years. I moved from Maine to New Hampshire in that time, and I wanted to give you just kind of an update on more things that I've learned, how I'm prepping for winter this year, and the comparison between Maine and New Hampshire. So to give the quick background update, the Cliff's Notes, if you will, I moved from Dallas, Texas to Southern Maine in September 2020. Kind of right in the middle of COVID. I was working remote and I had always wanted to move out of Texas. I really fixated on New England. I road tripped through New England by myself in 2019. I have a video about that as well. And I just fell in love with it. And I knew if I didn't try it, I would always regret it. And if I couldn't hack it, if the winter was too hard, if I didn't like it, I could always move home, but I would always regret not doing it. So in 2020, I moved to Maine all by myself, packed up all my belongings, sold most of it, and moved into Southern Maine, into Saco specifically. From there, I was mostly working remote until I started getting into the hotel industry. I moved into Sebago, Maine, and now I live in North Conway, New Hampshire. I was working at a hotel here, and I just kind of want to talk a little bit about that transition. One of the biggest questions I get asked about is housing, cost of living, finding places to live, all that good stuff. I will tell you, I have been extremely fortunate and lucky to have found really fantastic places to live off of my second apartment I found on Craigslist. And where I currently live, I had actually gotten through my job. So I was working at a hotel that also owned a lot of real estate. And as an employee, you kind of got like first info on when apartments would become available before they were on the market. And I even was getting an employee discount before I left the hotel. But so I would say that if you are not coming here like already with a job, be on the lookout for jobs that have housing options available, or ask if they have like insight into how you can find affordable places to live in the area. Because I will say that hunting for housing is one of the most difficult challenges for people, especially housing that is affordable. I could go into a whole side rant about that and like Airbnb and short-term rentals and all that stuff, but I won't. So let me talk a little bit about Maine versus New Hampshire. Here are my thoughts, unbiased, unfiltered thoughts. I think that Maine has more of a distinct personality. You know, you have the Mainers, the people that have been there their whole lives. You have the seacoast, you have more rural Maine. The Lakes region is where I was towards the end there. And I feel like Maine just has its own personality. And I came from Texas, which is also a state that has a huge excess amount of personality. So I definitely like appreciate that kind of those kind of specific characteristics that are easily identifiable as Maine. And I do miss that, even though I live 20 minutes from Maine. Like I could hop into Maine anytime that I'd like. But living in New Hampshire, I don't feel like there is that much of like that distinct New Hampshire culture. I don't really think that that's, or at least I haven't picked up on it. I don't want to offend anybody that's like native to New Hampshire. I love living in New Hampshire. I've been having so much fun, specifically in the White Mountains. Like the summer, every season has its like really beautiful moments. This will be my first winter living in the mountains, but I'm really excited about that. And I have been pushing myself to do a lot of activities around the area in each season to really experience it. We have a ton of cool winter activities planned, like a scenic snow ride. We're trying to go on a sleigh ride. I'm having a girls' like movie night. So I'm really trying to make a community here in New Hampshire. And I think it really is about how you immerse yourself into a new area and take advantage of all that there is to do, because there is really so much to do. I'm not a big skier. I'm not really a big outdoorsy hiking kind of person, so I definitely know I'm missing out on that part of the culture of New Hampshire. But there are so many small town charming New England things to do, and that's really my sweet spot. So I'm making sure that I schedule time in my calendar each season to really explore and do something I haven't done before and take advantage. Okay, and I want to talk a little bit about my winter prep, especially as someone who is, this will be my third winter in New England, coming from a place that did not have tough winters at all. I feel like every year I'm learning more and more, and I still consider myself to be a winter novice, but this year I at least came at it with a checklist, a checklist of things to do before the first snow, before it's miserable for 4 months. So yeah, I want to give you a rundown of like actual like practical things that I did to prepare, and also some things I'm doing to combat seasonal depression and just like the winter blues. Okay, so first of all, practical, tactical things that I did to prepare for winter. The first one is the biggest one. I got new tires. I was still driving on not even all weather, just regular old plain drove from Texas tires, and I put my life in my hands last winter, y'all. Like I had some scary moments. So this year I knew it was non-negotiable. I have a car that does not have 4-wheel drive. I need new tires. Tires and brakes are the things that I can do to most protect myself for winter driving. So I got new all-weather tires, and I have an appointment in a couple of weeks to get my brakes done too. A few other car-related things, because I feel like most winter prep revolves around your car and transportation. I stocked up on several bottles of winter windshield wiper fluid. I feel like it's so helpful to like get the ice and frost off of your car, so I don't want to be in a position where I run out of that. I have several bottles. I also keep an ice scraper and brush in my car, and then I have another brush in my apartment. So if I have like my car is completely covered, I have one in my house that I can access, and I also have it in my car. And then I do keep my snow shovel in my car. I might rethink that, but I don't have to personally shovel where I live, so it's just in my car in case I need it. I also do keep a bag of salt in my car, because last year I got into a couple of situations where I had to put salt literally like right under my tires in order to get traction to get moving, which is very scary. So salt, brush, scraper, and windshield wiper fluid are 4 things that need to be in your car, easily accessible for winter driving. All right, in my apartment, what have I done to prepare? So by my door, I have my basket full of all my winter gear, hats, scarves, gloves, and I picked up a value pack of hand warmers. So I got these guys that are by my door for when it is really, really cold. I can just grab this on my way out. I also swapped out my sheets for flannel sheets, which is super cozy. Luckily, in my apartment, heat is included in my rent, so I don't really have to worry about that, but I still don't want to be like boiling or go overkill, so I do try and keep it at a low temperature. I think it's at like 64, 65, and then I just like bundle up when I need to. And then I'm just trying to get into the habit of regularly at night, before I'm like getting into the bedtime shower routine, is to check the weather and see if there's going to be snow or ice overnight, so that I can move my car if I need to, put my windshield wipers up, back in if I need to, just kind of like be prepared, and also know that I might need to leave a little bit earlier in the morning if it's going to be snowing and I have to like brush off my car or whatever. Just the time that gets added to your departure because of snow when you're unprepared is more than I would care to admit. So I'm really trying to get into the habit of checking my weather app regularly and seeing what's going to be happening while I'm asleep, so I'm prepared in the morning. Okay, and in the last part of the video, I want to talk a little bit about what I'm doing to just combat the winter blues, because last year, I will tell you, last year was the first year I really struggled with seasonal depression and just feeling bleak and gray and like it was never going to end. And I definitely struggled with that. And I've never really had to struggle with that before, because winters in my home state of Texas are brief at best. They have some cold days, and every now and then we will get a little bit of snow, but it is it is nothing like up here where it is months of 30 degrees and below every single day, which is tough. So I'm definitely I'm definitely setting a priority for myself to put things on my calendar that are fun, interactive, get me out of the house, get me interacting with people like my friends, or having dates with my boyfriend, or things that just will break the monotony of life in the winter. And also just setting myself up with a project that is kind of overarching, which I described it to my friend as my seasonal depression deflection project. That's such a good name. But one thing that I have been working on, and I will definitely share more with you as it like comes to be, but I really been wanting to do like more vintage and thrifted reselling, and maybe be at some flea markets next year, and kind of embrace that hunt that I love in thrift stores into reselling for people that might have a similar style to me, and might be interested in things that I find, or like curated like home decor kind of through the lens of like whatever style that I happen to have. So I've been kind of, not every day after work, but once a week after work, I'll go hit my favorite thrift shop and see what I find. And that's a really fun activity that doesn't cost too much money, that is fun. It's a little retail therapy, and I know that's going to continue through the winter. And then also just having a project to plan for, like in the spring, I do want to launch this. So it's something to think about. It's something to be on Pinterest about. It's something to be excited about. Something to look forward to, which I feel like is really important. So between scheduling activities, even embracing the winter and activities, like doing a sleigh ride in the winter, and there's a little playhouse near me, and maybe going to see like a winter play, especially post Christmas. I need to have activities on my calendar that are going to force me to break up that gray sludge of post-Christmas winter months. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you found it informative. If you are someone who's contemplating a move to New England, I know that there are a lot of people out there who kind of romanticize and fantasize about New England life and New England living, and I will tell you, if you really immerse yourself into the culture and spend your money here, make your living here, just really deep dive into it, it's a really magical place to be. I love New England. I appreciate New England. I want to invest my time and my money into building a really beautiful life here. And I have not regretted for a single second uprooting my life to move here. So if you're in the same boat, just know that you're not alone, and know that you can do this. You can absolutely move to New England. I know that some people will get fussy and say that, I shouldn't. I got the most unhinged comment that was like basically the equivalent of keep your mouth shut about New England so more people don't come here. Okay. But I sincerely think that if you're coming here with a true appreciation, and you're not just like, I don't know, I don't want to ruffle any feathers, but if you're coming here because you feel called to live in New England, and you love and appreciate the culture, and want to really be a part of it, and be a part of the community, that's what I'm trying to say, the community, then by all means, embrace that dream. And I think that is fantastic, and that's what I want to continue to do each year. If you have any other questions about Maine versus New Hampshire, life in New England, moving, whatever, leave them in the comments below. I try my best. I don't know everything. I'm not a be-all, end-all authority, but I do try my best to answer questions that I feel capable of answering. So if you have them, leave them in the comments below. I will link the other videos that I mentioned down below as well, like my road trip video and my original 1 year in Maine video. And I have more fun holiday content coming up. If you want more day in the life, behind the scenes fun stuff, you can always follow me on Instagram or TikTok at @MegIsPrettyCool. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.